Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Randi Thompson, sitting in for Sam Shad. Today we're going to be talking with Alex Reinauer of the Competitive Enterprise Institute, talking about the merger between Albertsons and Kroger. It's a big thing in Nevada, coming up on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Story County is leading Nevada. Home of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, Google, Tesla, Panasonic, and other world-leading companies. Story County provides thousands of tech, advanced manufacturing, and logistics careers for Nevadans. We're diversifying and driving Nevada's economy and generating millions in tax revenue and billions in economic activity across northern Nevada. Story County is leading Nevada's future.
They want us to believe we only have two options. That's just not working anymore. I've never been a follower. I'm a businessman and entrepreneur. I'm ready to forge a new path to secure our future, one that keeps Northern Nevada free, fair, and wild. A path that means freedom for all, including affordable housing.
I'm Greg Kidd, and I approve this message because I'm not from either political party. I'm for Nevada.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
When Roe v. Wade was overturned, I couldn't believe it.
50 years of progress gone in an instant.
Now I hear Sam Brown was chairman of a group that fought to ban abortion.
With no exceptions, even for rape or incest.
And not only that, Sam Brown tried to hide it now that he's running for Senate, leaving it off his official campaign documents so we wouldn't find out.
It's no surprise that Sam Brown wants to hide his extreme views.
But we know he's not for us.
Wynn Senate is responsible for the content of this ad.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And we're back on Nevada Newsmakers. I'm Randi Thompson, sitting in for Sam Shad. And today I'm talking with Alex Reinauer. He is a research fellow with the Center for Technology and Innovation at the Competitive Enterprise Institute. And he focuses on technology policy as well as on antitrust. Good morning, Alex. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me.
So tell me a little bit about the Competitive Enterprise Institute. That's a new one to me.
Yes, Competitive Enterprise Institute, also called CEI, is a nonprofit think tank here in Washington, D.C. We follow and cover a lot of different regulatory issues as well as merger policy. And we approach kind of regulation and policy from a free market perspective, right? We believe that free markets are the best way to create human flourishing. And it's our 40th anniversary. We were founded in 1984. And, we're just really kind of policy nerds. We like to get in down to the grass and the weeds and really talk about the nerdy policy issues.
Well, I imagine this administration's been keeping you busy because they've got a lot of, especially on antitrust. I mean, I see lawsuit after lawsuit from the FTC these days. So I'm kind of surprised. Why does it seem to be more litigious than normal, or is this just because I'm now paying attention to what the FTC is doing?
No, you are absolutely right. And the Biden administration has been, very gung-ho on revamping antitrust. That's why they brought in Lena Khan at the Federal Trade Commission and Eric Cantor at the Department of Justice. And we're seeing an attempted revolution of antitrust, right? This kind of philosophy that big is bad automatically. And they're certainly trying to do that by litigating cases and really not wanting to settle cases, which has been a big departure from the last few decades.
Well, FTC, Federal Trade Commission, should be focusing on protecting consumers. But it seems here like, especially when we're talking about the whole Kroger-Albertsons thing, they seem like to have a different agenda besides protecting consumers.
Yes, there's been a general departure from the consumer welfare standard. We have these things called the merger guidelines. They're not really rules. They're kind of guidelines or guidance for companies that are thinking about merging. And traditionally, for decades, we've had consumers being at the focus of those guidelines. But just this year, we had a recent new guidelines introduced, and the consumer welfare standard was kind of devoid from those new guidelines. So we're really kind of seeing here a more focus on structure of markets, really kind of like micromanaging and central planning of the economy rather than a really consumer focus philosophy in antitrust.
So it's not just, so we're going to talk about the Kroger-Albertsons merger, because that is in front of the FTC as well as an important in Nevada, especially in Las Vegas. But there's so many big businesses that are under attack. I mean, the Amazons, the Googles, the Microsofts, the Apples. So it's not just, I mean, I don't look at Kroger and Albertsons on the same scale as an Apple and a Microsoft, but yet it seems like big is bad in this philosophy.
No, I think you really, really put your finger on the important point here is that I think Kroger and Albertsons have really been caught up in this kind of anti-tech fever that's happened at the Federal Trade Commission. And it's likely, right, they see Kroger and Albertsons merging and they think this will be a really good news hook. It'll really show that we're doing our job and we're taking on big corporations. So I think you're very right that these two grocers have been caught up in this big anti-tech fever.
Well, let's see if we can bring it down to show that this is not just big tech, but these are actually important resources for Nevadans, specifically grocery stores. So tell me a little bit about the merger of Albertsons and Kroger and essentially why they're doing it and how it will benefit the consumer.
Yeah, well, Kroger and Albertsons announced this merger in October 2022. The FTC filed its initial case in February. And Kroger and Albertsons are, really just great historic American businesses. Their businesses complement each other very well. I remember being a kid going to Kroger and Albertsons and not knowing the difference, thinking they were really the same store. So what they really want to do is join forces because their businesses complement each other so well, so they can better compete with these really large companies like Walmart, Amazon, and Costco. Even just like looking at Nevada specifically, right? Albertsons and Kroger's market share there has dropped dramatically in the last 10 years, while Amazon, Costco, and Walmart have really increased. So in order to better benefit from economies of scale, really integrate their businesses and cut costs, they want to come to forces to compete against these larger companies. And that's going to allow them to lower prices because Walmart is the leader in grocers because it has the lowest prices. And Kroger and Albertsons feel like they can really compete against the dominant position of Walmart if they combine forces.
So I was reading two reports from the FTC. One that was said how the grocery sector survived COVID and what they did to adapt to COVID. And in that study, they talk about Kroger's and Albertsons, but also Target and Amazon and Walmart. So they all kind of lump them all together as groceries. And yet in the FTC lawsuit against Albertsons and Kroger's, they don't consider Walmart, Amazon, and Target to be grocery stores. How can they say two different definitions of what these guys are?
Yeah, you're just preaching to me right here. You were speaking.
Sorry about that.
No, this is great. This has been a trend at the Federal Trade Commission recently, right? In any antitrust case, right, especially mergers, you have to define what is the relevant market. If you're going to claim two companies are monopolizing by merging, you have to say monopoly over what. In this particular case, they're saying supermarkets, right? And they exclude, there's portions of Walmart they exclude, portions they include. They exclude dollar stores, they exclude kind of delivery services, and a lot of other relevant competitors. And this has been happening in a number of cases, right? You look at Facebook, Meta's acquisition of a virtual reality fitness app. They define the relevant market as dedicated fitness virtual reality apps, right? Which are different from those that are just incidentally fitness, right? Even if they burn more calories. We have the affordable luxury handbag case, right? With Tapestry and Michael Kors. So this has been a common thing. And even I'd say even if under the current definition of supermarkets, I'd say Kroger and Albertsons divestitures already adequately take care of the competitive concerns. But in reality, this market is much larger than what the FTC is defining it as.
It seems a little on the crazy side. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back after this.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management specializes in providing industries with the necessary components to satisfy and exceed workers' comp requirements. Every business has unique needs and specific regulations. Pro Group Management stays ahead of the curve, providing up-to-date services to keep your industry in top form. Discover how we simplify your tasks, improve efficiency, and reduce expense to keep you moving in a positive direction. Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you. But we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise.
Truck drivers are some of the hardest working people you'll meet, delivering over 70% of America's freight and 92% of Nevada's. When there's a natural disaster, they're delivering critical supplies to help those communities recover and rebuild. Every sector of the economy and our nation's military rely on truck drivers. So let's take a moment to say thank you. On the open road or city streets, our truck drivers are rolling to make our economy and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
I'm Randi Thompson, sitting in for Sam Shad. Welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers, and I'm talking with Alex Reinauer from the Competitive Enterprise Institute. So we're talking about the merger between Kroger's and Albertsons, which most Nevadans probably don't say, oh, whatever, but we could create food deserts if this doesn't work out right, especially in some of our most vulnerable communities in northern Las Vegas and Las Vegas. So this is a big issue for Nevada. Alex, can you kind of explain to me, part of this merger is also a divestiture, or I guess a selling of some of the grocery stores. So how is that working into this?
Yeah, well, with any merger case, right, there are going to be some kind of overlaps in local markets. And the way companies kind of alleviate this problem is through divestitures. They find a third party that's well capitalized and ultimately sell off those stores to kind of help prevent any harms to competition. In this particular instance, we have C&S Grocery. It's one of the largest private companies in the country, family owned, not owned by private equity, and has been a major leader in the kind of the wholesale grocery business. So the FTC, though, claims this C&S Grocery is some kind of an inadequate partner. Mostly because they don't have a lot of experience on the grocery level, but they have a great experience with distribution. But in the recent years, C&S Grocery has been expanding its kind of grocery footprint and has really made clear that its intent to expand. I think a lot of criticism this points to Hagen, right, which was the divestiture partner when Albertsons and Safeway merged, and I think they're right that was a failure. Hagen was not well capitalized, but I think that shows that C&S is so much better equipped to do this. So ultimately, right, I think it's up to 579 stores that Kroger and Albertsons are going to be divesting, and I think C&S Grocery is well equipped to handle that and is ultimately going to benefit from vertical integration and really kind of help prevent any kind of competitive harms from the merger.
So was the divestiture a strategic move to avoid a lawsuit, or is it the lawsuit just came regardless of the divestiture part?
Well, I think, yeah, there's two parts of that. Ordinarily, right, I think this would have eased the Federal Trade Commission's concern. I think if this would have been done 10 years ago, it would have been fine. But I think perhaps Kroger and Albertsons did expect a challenge because of this, very, very highly active Federal Trade Commission. So the divestitures are ultimately to show to a court, like, look, we are bending over backwards here to try to get this merger to go through. So I think probably both of those instances you mentioned.
Okay, so the claim that the FTC is saying is that this is going to lower competition and raise prices, but yet if they are combined as a national entity, don't they have more buying power, and thus that lower prices? I mean, isn't this just kind of basic market dynamics here?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And if you look at just Kroger and Albertsons separately, like both of them have very small margins, right? Like these aren't just really, really big margins. Albertsons had slightly larger margins in the past. Kroger has been really vigorously lowering prices over the 10 years and has been even dropping its margin. So by bringing Albertsons under Kroger's umbrella, we can expect to see those lower margins across all of their stores. So yeah, they're going to benefit from economies of scale, right? These are very, very adamant on lowering prices. And this is precisely why they are merging in the first place. So they can lower prices, still keep the same margins, and ultimately create benefits for consumers.
Well, it seems like it's just so odd. You go to a Walmart and you see the buying power you have at a Walmart where everything is so much less expensive because they have such big buying power nationwide. So they're just trying to stay competitive and relevant, but also they're concerned about consumer prices because they've got to stay competitive, but also their employees. So there's definitely a labor component to this, isn't there?
Yes, certainly. It's probably the most unique portion of the Federal Trade Commission's case against the merger is that they're claiming this is going to create monopolization in the relevant market of union labor grocery. This is, very unique, hasn't really been done before. But the particularly odd part of it is that typically when you go into labor antitrust concerns, it's focused on outputs, right? Outputs and prices and how it's going to affect consumers. This is completely devoid of that kind of consumer welfare we were talking about before. This is focused solely on bargaining power, which is really, really bizarre, really odd, and is really a big departure from what we've seen in antitrust in the past. And it's pretty clear that the union groceries are really upset with this portion of it. But at the same time, right, Walmart and Costco and Union, they have a lot of non-labor grocery. So I think they've made a lot of concessions saying they're going to maintain all the same kind of bargaining agreements they have. CNS has also agreed to keep those bargainings in place. And again, I think the parties involved have really been over backwards to try to make this happen.
And yet, like you said, the true unionized groups are Walmart, are Albertsons and Kroger's. Nobody else is really that unionized. So it seems like this is trying to protect a union and not necessarily protect customers.
Yeah, certainly. And also punishing two companies, that have worked really closely with Union Grocery, but somehow not punishing those who haven't.
Yeah, there's a lot of complexities to this, and we're going to discover it more. We'll be right back after this.
Come one, come all, it's the $125,000 carnival of cash and prizes at Tamarack Casino. Get in on the fun with cash and free play prize drawings every Thursday and Saturday, including winners of up to $1,000 and a top prize of $5,000 guaranteed each week. Your good times are at Tamarack Casino.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
For 50 years, Nevada Heating has been keeping people comfortable in their homes. At Nevada Heating, call the Do It Right guys and get the air conditioning back on today. That's the Nevada Heating way. Why sweat for days on end when Nevada Heating can get your air conditioning fixed today? Call us today and we'll fix it today at 323-5585 or schedule us on our website at nevadaheating.com.
Welcome to the Winnemucca Big R.
Hi, I'm John Walker. Welcome to Big R Lovelock.
Hi, I'm Rich Martin. Welcome to Fallon Big R.
My name is Braden. Welcome to Big R Fernley.
Hi, I'm Kelly. Welcome to Big R Sparks.
Brian Culpa Photography was born in the rolling hills of Massachusetts, and now he can help you experience the stunning beauty of Nevada in a whole new way through the power of flight. Flying has always been a passion for Brian, and at Brian Culpa Photography, he can make your imagination soar. Brian has the creative mind and tools to tell your unique story. Experience the bird's eye view at brianculpaphotography.com. Southwest Specialties has been making the homes and businesses of Nevada beautiful for more than 20 years. Their experienced designers and craftsmen create the walkways, backyards, water features, and a variety of outdoor cooking areas that add curb appeal and value to your investment. Call today or visit them at their website and see how they can make your outdoor spaces special. Southwest Specialties, creative, distinctive, beautiful.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, I'm Randi Thompson, sitting in for Sam Shad, and I'm talking to Alex Reinauer of the Competitive Enterprise Institute. And we're talking about the Kroger-Albertsons merger. So Nevada's Attorney General joined the lawsuit, I guess with the FTC or with other states. So how many lawsuits are there in this, in this situation?
Yeah, well, in a way, there's kind of four, right? There's the Federal Trade Commission one that was filed in an Oregon federal court, which Nevada and a number of states joined onto. There's also two separate state challenges as well. One in Colorado, which we had a recent update last week, in which Kroger and Albertsons agreed to temporarily pause the merger while the Colorado State Court, goes through the case. Then there's another one in Washington as well on the state level, but also simultaneously from the FTC's case in Oregon, the FTC is also conducting its internal adjudication, right? Agencies oftentimes have their own kind of tribunal where they act as the prosecutor, the investigator, the judge, and oftentimes the jury as well. There's a real issue there kind of with the separation of powers, right? And there's a number of lawsuits that are kind of challenging that whole thing. So it's really tough for Kroger and Albertsons really to fly back and go to all these court cases at the same time, especially overlapping.
I find you just said something about all these lawyers flying around. I'm looking at all these FTC lawsuits. I can't imagine how much money Amazon, Google, Microsoft are spending on lawyers when they could be spending it on research and development. So I guess that just kind of frustrates me that we're really wasting a lot of taxpayer and private dollars on this stuff.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is likely by design from the Federal Trade Commission. I think this is why they said early on, we want to litigate. We don't want to settle. I think their idea is even if we can't win on the merits, even if our arguments aren't strong enough, we're going to push this and we're going to increase the cost of this litigation so much to dissuade you from merging. And they're doing this with taxpayer dollars, right? This is not, I think this is not very fiduciarily, like very good governing. Like they're running a litigation strategy to change the law, not really enforce the law.
Well, that's really frightening to think of how our government is kind of weaponizing itself against, frankly, consumers, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, certainly. And it's a really radical agenda. We called it the neo-Brandeisian agenda, named after Louis Brandeis, the Supreme Court justice. And it's a radical departure from consumer welfare, right? For decades, we've been saying that antitrust should be focusing on consumers, but what's the point of it really existing if it's not focused on consumers? But there's been this really kind of radical view that we need to use this to centrally plan the economy, to kind of get rid of inequities in certain areas.
So how are you guys approaching, this is probably one of many lawsuits you're tracking that deals with antitrust. What other things are out there that, frankly, we should be concerned about?
Yeah, well, another one of the grocery processes, there's a law called the Robinson-Patman Act. And we haven't really been enforcing it for decades, mostly because it's a really bad law that harms consumers. And what it does is it prohibits price discrimination. And I know price discrimination sounds really bad, right? But just like when you go to get a haircut, right? A woman's haircut oftentimes costs more than a men's haircut, right? Is that price discrimination? Who knows? But it ultimately allows, right? It's going to prevent grocery stores from negotiating for lower prices because of their size. So ultimately, and there's been tons of studies on this, right? That Robinson-Patman inevitably raises prices, and the FTC wants to bring that back, and is likely going to be attaching grocery stores as well.
Oh my goodness, that's just crazy. In this world of antitrust, do you see it ending anytime soon? Like maybe a change of administration?
Well, we'll see. Right? Former President Trump announced his new Vice President, J.D. Vance, And he recently said that Lena Khan was the only person he really enjoyed in the Biden administration, right? There is concern there, but I think President Trump has said that, he's a fan of business and unleashing American prosperity. And we'll see, we may have another Democrat in, and who knows what's going to happen to Lena Khan. Her tenure at FTC, her term expires in September. Ultimately, if they don't appoint a new person, Lena Khan can stay on. We'll see if she gets let go. We'll see if she gets carried on. I don't know. There's rumors that she may want to be on a court somewhere, actually, writing court opinions. So we'll see. There's a lot of uncertainty on that realm, but CEI will be here to help push back against that for sure.
Well, I saw a big donor promised Kamala Harris money, but she had to replace Lena Khan. So there's some pressure out there from especially big tech to find a new FTC chair. Well, this is fascinating, Alex. Thank you for your time today, and I'm sure we'll be back to talk about this as it moves along. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be right back after this.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Everyone is talking about opioids, but they're not the only drugs that can be harmful if taken in large quantities or not as prescribed. You also need to be aware of side effects from anxiety drugs, muscle relaxants, sleep aids, and stimulants. Mixing prescription drugs with other drugs or alcohol can be dangerous. If you take an Ambien with a glass of wine, it may be enough to stop you from breathing. Prescribed drugs can be just as dangerous as illegal drugs. Take medications only as directed.
Here on 7 at 7, we're bringing you the local headlines in just 7 minutes.
We've got you covered in the morning, evening, and for all breaking news, in between, and as it happens.
Life is busy, and we don't waste your time. Join us for local news now streaming on our YouTube page.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Thank you for watching or listening to us today. You can watch us anytime at NevadaNewsmakers.com. We also have a podcast. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.